Hey guys, today I wanted to share with you an easy St. Louis rib recipe that I used over my vacation while I was visiting my family. Hope you guys enjoy. So while I was on vacation with my family, I wanted to do some type of barbecue. My dad had just gotten a brand new pit. It's the Pit Boss Pro Series. I've never used that before, but I wanted to give it a try while I was there. So this being my first time using the Pit Boss Pro Series, there were definitely some things that I had to get used to on this grill. First of all, there's no digital setting that's on here. It's actually just a turnstile knob. And you know what? I'll actually link in below another video that I've done reviewing that Pit Boss Pro Series for you. So what I decided to do was to go down to the market, see what they had, and it turns out they already had some St. Louis style ribs, which is great because it saved me all the prep work that I didn't really want to do. I started off with a very simple base. We did salt, pepper, some garlic powder, equal distribution of all those, right? So then after I got that done, let it set up for just a couple of minutes. So I took some yellow mustard and then I put that over the ribs, right? I had 4 racks, so I had plenty of time to kind of set up. Once I let that mustard get in there, right, I took the rib racks original, spread that out over each one of them, and then I let it set out for probably about 10 minutes as it just set up. At the same time, I went out to the Pit Boss, right, and I got that thing fired up. We were using the Traeger's competition blend of pellets. I don't really know if it really matters too much which one we would have used here because we were doing a little bit of a quicker cook. I was more worried this time around about my time and getting dinner out when we wanted rather than to really slow cook all the way through. Remember, we're on vacation, right? We're looking for ease of use and not necessarily competition style ribs. So when I went out there, set it up to about 250 degrees, and then I came back inside, grabbed the ribs, I started to throw them on. So before it ever reached 250 degrees, there's this smoke setting that Pit Boss actually has. We turned it on to the smoke setting, and then I left it on to P4 to start. So that P setting is actually a pause setting, right? P stands for pause. And the higher the number, the longer the pause time there was. So we went from P4, which was around middle of the road, and I actually brought that down. It was super windy outside, and so it was really killing off a lot of that fuel, and it got down to about 170 degrees, which is way slower than what I wanted it to. So over that first hour, we kind of kept knocking down that P time as we were playing around with the grill. After the first hour, I went in and checked, really liked the way that things were setting up, and then set it back up to 300 degrees. So I really wanted to start actually getting some cooking done at this point. I figured there had been plenty of smoke. Things had been going pretty well. The ribs looked really good. So at that point, I took them, gave them another hour at about 300 degrees. But the whole time in this cook, because it was so windy, it was going anywhere from 270 to about 330 degrees, which is a huge swing, right? If you know anything about barbecuing, which was a little bit disappointing, especially when I knew I was on a pellet grill and didn't really want to pay attention to it. I just wanted to set it and forget about it. Anyways, after about an hour of trying to fight that temperature and keep it kind of where I wanted it, we brought them back in. Once we brought them back, we laid out a bunch of tin foil. I set down some margarine, and then I put on some light coating of brown sugar. Right, that brown sugar, I did it on both sides, same with the butter, wrapped them up. Then we went back out and put it meat side down. And I left them on the grill again for about an hour and 15 minutes. After an hour and 15 minutes, brought them back in, opened them up, let them set for about 20 minutes, and we were ready to go. Now, usually I would do things a little bit different. One thing that I definitely would have changed on this cook, right, is that I didn't really move the ribs around enough. Because it was so windy, the hot spots were all over the place, and especially right there on top of the diffuser. For some reason, that seemed to be a real hot spot. And because of that, one rack of ribs kind of had a little bit of burning that actually ended up happening with them. So that was a little disappointing, and I definitely would have changed that. Lastly, I almost always put on a glaze and let that tack up, some kind of sauce or glaze. Didn't do that this time. Because we were on vacation, I didn't feel like making anything, right? We went and we got a Heinz pack of sauces, right? It had a Carolina mustard, there was Miss Memphis, there was a Kansas City rub, right? And then there was another Carolina vinegar. And we just let everybody kind of choose what they wanted off of that, right? I cut them up into about 2 or 3, right, ribs a piece, and let people go to town, and they could then play with whatever sauce they wanted to. And I thought that really helped. So the last thing that kind of helped elevate this whole meal, right, even though it was a quick barbecue, right, there's always a way to elevate a meal. And so the way that we went about elevating the meal was with the sides. So we took a prepackaged thing of Caesar salad, whipped that up, right? Ladies love salads, right? And then my brother actually cooked some orzo. So if you don't know what orzo is, it's a very small pasta. It almost comes out like rice. And so with those 2 sides, instead of just doing mac and cheese and potatoes and making it more of an outdoor back home style meal, right? This kind of elevated it up a little bit, right? Whenever we're around family, we really want to kind of show off and have great meals. And this is one way that we decided to do that. So once we got done with all of that, right? Then it was time to kind of decide, what do you want to pair with it? And so for me, the ribs were really sweet in the end, at least in my opinion. And for that reason, I decided that I wanted to do bourbon and red wine, right? And then we actually had some Jefferson's Oceans, which I've done in another video, and you can check that out in the description below. With those 2 pairings, now you've really gone from just any old quick, easy rack of ribs, right, to a meal now that you're proud to have in the dining room. Those are the things that I think really elevated this cook up, and I hope you guys will enjoy yours as well. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy recipe. If you did, will you go ahead and smash that like button for me? Go ahead and click subscribe as well, and then hit that bell notification so that way you guys can get the latest updates anytime I do another cook. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.